InZOI has been getting a lot of attention for its great visuals, but is it actually fun to play? Now, we have to be kind to the game. It is early access. It's a simulation management game. It's basically like The Sims, but it looks better, it's modern, it plays better, in my opinion. And I will get into more of that as we go on into the video. Now, I've probably played about 10 hours or so, and my first impressions actually, when I first opened the game, it took me straight into the Create InZOI screen, and I was amazed at how quick I got into it. Like, it was just like, boom, I was there. And as you know, with The Sims, it's very much, you're always waiting for a loading screen. And I was just shocked that I was just in Create InZOI already. I was like, okay. But my first initial thoughts were, wow, this is quite overwhelming. But that was to be expected because obviously I hadn't played the game before. And so it took quite a bit of time trying to understand how Create InZOI works, but I kept to the basics and just used like a preset Zoe because really I just wanted to get into the game, really. One thing I do really love is the UI and the sound design. I think the UI is very modern. It's just nice to look at as well as the sound design. It's just a joy to my senses, in all honesty. Like they've really thought about it. I really genuinely just enjoy listening to the music, whether that's in Create InZOI or you're building or whatever. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying that part of the game for sure. And I guess a lot of people, the argument is that it's, there's not much to do. But I think if you're someone who's just solely comparing it to The Sims, then of course there isn't going to be as much to do. Again, this is an early access game. Like, this game is still in development, and I think people are being very harsh on it. Like, this isn't a final release. When you look at The Sims, that's been going for years, and I would argue probably doesn't run as well as InZOI does. I mean, it doesn't. I categorically know that for a fact, and people are probably going to hate on me for that, but I've been a Sims fan since the very first game, and The Sims 4 just isn't cutting it anymore. People aren't enjoying it anymore. I certainly am not enjoying it anymore. Okay, great if you are enjoying it, but personally, I get no enjoyment from the game anymore, and that's why I've made this shift to InZOI. Sorry, I'm a bit out of breath. I got a bit passionate there. Anyway, so I got into it thinking I'm going to just jump in, make two Zoys, see how I go, maybe get them a job. And as I say, it was a bit overwhelming and I was sort of just playing around in the game a bit more. Then later on I decided that I would try a Rags to Riches playthrough in Kahaya because I've always liked doing Rags to Riches. Like, that's one of my favourite challenges to do, or was to do in The Sims 4. So I thought I'd give it a go and hire because I heard there was certain crafting mechanics you could do. And do you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I found it a lot more difficult than The Sims, which is a good thing, by the way. I was trying to fish to make some money. I was trying to cook the fish and eat the fish. Like, I thought it was really cool that you could have a fire pit and like a little bit of cardboard that you slept on. Like, I just like those little details. And another thing that surprised me is your Zoi's clothes get dirty after a time, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. Can I wash these anywhere? Which I couldn't find anywhere, so I just carried on with my gameplay. And actually found it quite difficult to sell some of the items I found. I found a pearl in the sand, which was pretty cool. And I liked the fact that you could decide how much certain items would sell for. I just found it difficult to actually sell them. So, and I also had a go at gardening as well. I just wanted to give that go. I enjoyed it, but it doesn't really make much money. So if you're doing rags to riches, maybe don't go down that route. So that's when I decided to save up enough money for an easel and I started to paint. And actually, painting is where it's at. I slowly started making money with that one. I have been thoroughly enjoying my time in InZOI. Once I managed to gather enough money, I decided to try and build, and that was very difficult. I will be honest. Again, let's remember this is an early access game. It's not going to be, you know, the best thing in the world. But I did really enjoy the customization. You could choose from all sorts of different wood. There was different wallpapers, fabrics. It just took some time getting used to it. I think over time I will get better at using it, and I'm sure they'll make it easier for players later on down the line. It's one of those things you gotta kind of be patient, but you've also gotta kind of learn as you go with that. And I will give The Sims some credit. Their building tool is great. I loved their building tool. It was very easy to use. I just think InZOI can be really great. I don't know when the final release of the game will be, but I think it will. I do believe the final version will be a lot of fun. I mean, there's still things I haven't played with yet, like crime. Like I want to get into that. I think at the moment its strength is in kind of rotational play. I think if you're just sticking to doing the same thing, yeah, you will get bored. Like for example, I just played with a family who just had a baby. I think the baby still needs to be worked on a little bit. There's a few bugs there with like the animations and things like that. But again, that's all to be expected. It's an early access game. When you buy an early access game, you have to go into it with an open mind. You can't expect something that's going to run fantastically. Like you just it's that's just no. Just if you're doing that, just stop buying it. Just you know what frustrates me is people who buy early access games and treat it like it's a fully fledged game, and it's like, no, calm down. It's not done yet. Like you can't. That's probably the most annoying thing I find. Like you can't be annoyed at an early access game for having bugs or not being fully fleshed out, or you know, you just can't. So don't buy an early access game if you can't accept that it's not going to run great. Do you know what I mean? Do you know another thing I really enjoy actually? I enjoy, I found weirdly just walking through the world quite nice. I can't say what it was, it just felt kind of cozy in a way, actually, which kind of fits my YouTube channel. But I guess we could argue that fun can be subjective. So what I find fun is going to be very different to what you find fun. We're all individuals. It is what it is. But if you're a fan of simulation games and you're okay with buying into an early access game, I do think this game is worth it. And of course, make sure you have a PC that runs it. It's very graphically intensive. I think if you're looking for a lot of gameplay, you're not going to find loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of it. Like, as I've said again and again, this is an early access game. But I am enjoying, and I've barely touched the surface. I've only sort of played within family dynamics. I've done rags to riches, but I would quite like to try going down the crime route. And also, there's bakeries and things like that, and doing your own business. So, right now, I think there is enough for people to do. It's just, again, I think people are being quite harsh on InZOI. And I think it could be a really great game. Anyway, have you played InZOI? Did you find it fun? Did you find it lacking in areas? Let me know in the comments. If you're enjoying the videos, please subscribe. Helps me out a lot. And thanks so much for the support on the most recent videos. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.